Like I thought every person who was called a fae was like a person with like wings and not some like beastly creature. Like no. I thought it was gonna be a Tinkerbell popping out. Today I'm going to be going over my 5 worst books of this year. I want to start the video off by reading a quote from a random book, and I think I'm just going to continue that on for my future videos. So this is from the book When True Loves by Taylor Jenkins Reid's. It says, "When you love someone, it seeps out of everything you do. It bleeds into everything you say. It becomes so ever present that eventually it becomes ordinary to hear, no matter how extraordinary it is to feel." Love that book. So I'm going to start off with a book I read this year that I absolutely despised. It is I Who Have Never Known Men by Jacqueline Harpman. So I picked up this book because during the time that I read it, which was at the very beginning of the year, it was on like everyone's booktube. Like everyone was reading it, everyone was talking about it, which is kind of random because it literally came out in 1995. So I'm not exactly sure what caused it to kind of come back into the fold this year, but it did. And I saw a lot of people reading it, enjoying it, and the genre was like science fiction, dystopia, and it was short. It's only 208 pages. And so I thought, okay, this could be a really cool, like kind of segue book for me. So I picked it up on my Kindle, and it was an absolute sludge. It was so painfully boring. I remember, you ever read a book and you have like recently heard really great things about it? So you're going into it thinking, okay, it won't be terrible. And so you're reading the book and you're reading it and you're reading it and you're so bored, but you continue to read it because you believe that there's going to be some incredible plot twist, some insane realization that it's going to change your whole idea of how you see the book. But that event never happens. That is what happened with me when I read this book. Because here we are with our main character. I'm not sure if we ever got to know her name. I don't know. It's been too long. But our main character like wakes up and she's in a bunker and she's being guarded by men, and there's other people like stuck in the bunker with her. It's like a cage and it's other women, and she has no recollection of who she is. She has no idea why she's down here. She doesn't know what's going on. And we as readers are like, why are they in cages? We have no idea. If the world has ended, we don't know what's going on. It's just the weirdest, like, drop you in a scene and figure it out. And I hated every second of it. I, I really did. I can't even lie. I don't know why I gave it 3 stars because looking back on it, it should have gotten 2. I think I gave it 3 just because it was so short that, for me, the worst thing that can happen is that I read a horrible book and it's like 500 pages because that just makes the experience even worse because it's super long. Um, but I did end up giving this book 3 stars. Yeah, so literally the plot is they're stuck in some underground place where they can't get out and they're literally prisoners. The guards like don't talk to them and they're never allowed to know what time it is. They don't know what's going on. They don't know who they are. It's just like so weird. And so like the book is just kind of a mundane, oh, we're cooking, oh, we're cleaning, oh, I wonder what's outside that gate. And I try to keep my interest because I thought, okay, maybe something insane is going to happen. Maybe there's going to be some incredible plot twist, some incredible otherworldly explanation. And I don't know about y'all, but I never got it. I never understood it. After what happened, I was like, okay, and like, this is the story? This is what you wrote? This is what you wrote? Sorry, I was like, this is it? Okay. All right. So yeah, I didn't enjoy that book at all, but so that is why it has made this list. But I would love it if other people have read this book to let me know down below your thoughts on it. Am I missing something? I could be missing something, but I don't really think that matters because at the end of the day, it wasn't a fun read. But maybe if you guys can enlighten me, I'm willing to read a couple comments. Now, the second book to talk about is the very first book of Akatar. So I did read A Court of Thorns and Roses. Um, and this was the very first Sarah J. Maas book I picked up ever. Obviously, the hype around her is insane. And so I actually had pretty low expectations because I'm kind of in that mindset when it comes to reading that I don't care to pick up a YA book. I mean, it genuinely has to be like the plot has to be phenomenal for me to even consider it, which is crazy, but it's the truth. Um, I think the only YA book I read this year is this book YA. Okay, Akatar is considered YA, but I don't think that's true. I don't think that's real. Okay, I think it's new adult. We're gonna say it's new adult. I think the only YA book I read this year was Hunger Games, Songbirds of what the fuck is that book called? The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. Also fucking hate the name of that book. But anyways, focusing on Akatar, I expected the book to be like super I expected the writing to suck. And weirdly enough, it didn't suck. I didn't hate her writing. So I'm gonna give her that. But what I did hate and what I didn't know going in was that it was like not a retelling, but it was kind of like the vibes of Beauty and the Beast. And so I didn't know that going in, but like maybe like halfway through the book, I got those vibes and I was just like so off put. I was so off put. Also, I swear there's something in my eyeball. Oh my god. Okay, yeah. So, like halfway through the book, I was so off put because I could just feel the Beauty and the Beast kind of vibes. I was not into it. Also, knowing that there's like Fae when I picked up the book for the first time, I thought Fae meant fairies. I need to know down below if anyone else was confuzzled when they picked up this book for the very first time because I always thought Fae meant fairies, as in like fucking Tinkerbell. So I really thought that's what this book was about. Like I thought every person who was called a fae was like a person with like wings and not some like beastly creature. Like no. I thought it was gonna be a Tinkerbell popping out. So that was weird to me. Okay, I have no idea what I was just saying. But anyways, yeah, didn't enjoy it. I was just bored. Like there's sometimes you can read a book and it's not even bad, but you just know it's not your thing, and it's just not my thing. I couldn't care less about a fae. I couldn't care less about this random kingdom who has some like magic and you want to freaking growl at me and purr. Like the weirdest activities were occurring in this book, and even I couldn't even have an emotion because I didn't care. And that really doesn't have too much to do with the writing or the author or anything like that. Like I think the reason why this book is on this list isn't really about the book. It's just about me and it not aligning with my taste at all. Um, and there's really nothing you can do to change that. You know what I mean? Like I can't force myself to care about Faye. I can't force myself to be interested in a plot line that I'm not interested in. You know? So that's kind of where I'm at with that. Read the first one, will not be continuing, and that's that. Now, our third book is Remarkably Bright Creatures by Shelby Van Pelt. This was also a book that did this come out? Okay, this came out in 2022. But it was also making its waves this year. Um, I just saw it a lot on people's feeds, like if you like literary fiction, this is so groundbreaking and so amazing and so heartfelt. Like, those are the kind of vibes that I was getting from people giving this book as a recommendation. And, you know, throughout kind of my reading, I've realized that I do love like literary fiction. I do love that kind of like vibes. So I picked the book up hoping it was going to be amazing. I am very sorry if you can hear that vacuum cleaner. I hope you can't. That'd be great if you can't. Um, but yeah, I picked up the book. I picked up the book, and um, it, it's such a weird plot. I don't even know how to freaking describe it. But we have our main. Is he the main character? I don't know. But we have like a character who's an octopus, and he literally has like he's like, is he our narrator? I don't know. It was so long ago. I tried to blog this book out because I hated it so much. But we have a octopus whose name is Marcellus. He is like super smart because octopi are smart, and he lives inside of a aquarium. And our main character name is Tova. She's like an old lady who also works at the aquarium. And one day, the octopus is trying to escape his I don't know, trying to escape, and obviously he can't live long outside of water, so he's kind of failing at escaping. But she catches him, and he's literally outside of his enclosure, out of the water, and she freaks out. But of course, she helps him back into his enclosure, and they form a friendship. Y'all, I don't know. All I have to say is every chapter of this book, I hated it. Um, I think the only interesting part of the whole story for me was like the main guy. Oh my god, what was his name? I don't know. But the main guy and like his girlfriend, them breaking up, like just that chapter was like fun. It was just like one chapter that I liked. The rest was not good. I think the plot of this book is stupid, but that's my opinion. I think it makes no sense. I don't really understand the hype. I don't understand what you get out of this. All I can say is that I attempted to read it physically, and then I had to turn it to audiobook because it was insufferable. Insufferable. Moving on. Fourth book is Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow by Gabrielle Seven. This is another book that was all over my For You page, all over booktube. Everybody was reading this book. Everybody was talking about this book. Everybody was crying while reading this book. And it was a literary fiction, so that intrigued me so much. And it's pretty. Like the cover is pretty. So, I was really just like interested to pick it up, looking forward to it, expecting it to actually be a good read for me. And it's really just the story of two childhood friends, and they are like video game developers. And kind of as the plot continues, they create um, like a video game developing company, and that's kind of the vibe for the whole plot. And it was boring. I didn't enjoy it. I didn't like it. Uh, I don't know. I just think it just had nothing. There was just nothing there for me. Like it just felt very flat. And I don't know. It was almost like I didn't believe their friendship. Like like for me, I love a good friendship. I love to read about a friendship. I love to watch friendships. Like to me, that can done right, it can elicit more emotion than an actual relationship can, right? And so I was looking forward to that. But for me, their friendship fell flat. Um, and then you had our main character, forgot her name, but we had the main character Sadie. And she was in like this relationship with her freaking professor. That was just stupid. I was bored and just like exhausted reading about her life. Like I was like, girl, can you get a grip on reality and stop fucking him? He is an old man who is married. Girl, you can do so much better. I swear. People, you find you a single man. I swear. Look, all I can say is that I needed this book to end quicker than it did. All right. 401 pages. Yeah, it needed to be 0 pages. Not good. It was not good. We had like another character. There was this random plot in the book that just it was so random. I don't even know if I enjoyed it or not. I really don't know. It was like really deep into the book, and the company's formed, and something happens at the company, an event, and it was just so random to me that I couldn't even tell you what I think of it. I don't know. But all I can say is that book was a waste of my time, waste of my energy, waste of my thinking. But at least I didn't buy it, so I didn't waste my money. Okay, guys, very last book is called The Lost Apothecary by Sarah Penner. This is such a random book that I read because this book is kind of old. Yeah, 2021. I I want to say I briefly saw this book on like um book of the month when it first came out. I do remember seeing the cover of this, but it was never something that I felt the need to read anytime soon. So the reason why I read this book is because I went to a book club at my library and this was the book they were reading. So I was like, okay, I've heard of this book. Let me read it and go to book club. And so that's what I did. This book is historical fiction, mystery, and it's literally we're in the 1700s, and we have one of our main characters. His name is Nella, and she owns a apothecary. And her apothecary is kind of weird because she does like illegal things, where she will create poisons for women to buy to kill their husbands, which honestly sounds fun, right? Like that sounds like an interesting read, but it wasn't. And it's like a weird time bending. We're jumping from timeline to timeline, which I hate. I absolutely despise that. Um, uh, yeah, I can count on less than one hand how many times I felt like that was done right, or I felt like I was still able to enjoy a book despite that. So they lost me mostly there. Um, but I think there's like two timelines. It was present day and 1700s. My favorite part about the book was the present day because you have our main character Caroline, and she is married to a man who's literally cheating on her, and so she kind of like leaves him and then goes to where does she go? She she goes to London. Yeah, she goes to London to like get a break from him, to find herself, whatever, whatever. But she's also a history buff, and during her little kind of escapades, she discovers the Lost Apothecary, which is like what our main plot is in the 1700s. And so it's kind of this interesting weaving of timelines, but also very boring. I only finished it because I had book club. Like if I didn't have book club, I would have DNF'd that because even the audiobook was getting on my nerves. Um, FYI, I do not like listening to audiobooks with like super strong accents. And I guess for me, I've only ever listened to audiobooks. I've only ever like read, what am I trying to say? The only audiobooks that I've ever listened to that had accents, they were all British, and I would say like 60% of like British accents I hate because it's just it's so strong that I'm like getting a headache. Like please stop talking. So, yeah, didn't like that one at all. So, those are my 5 books that were the worst reads of this year. You guys will have to let me know down below what your worst reads of the year were, and if any of mine that made my list also makes yours. Yeah, but I did read them, so that's cool. That's nice. What is today? Oh my gosh, guys, it's so close to Christmas. Oh my god, it's the 23rd. Holy shit. Christmas is 2 days away, guys. I hope you have a really nice Merry Christmas. All right, bye.